Yo. Welcome to the Sacred Jedi Text. Thank you for joining us for episode 4. Today we will be talking about Path of Deceit by Tessa, Gratton, and Justina, Ireland. This book came out on October 1st. It is the first book in Phase 2 of the High Republic. This is a young adult novel. Let me just say this book is out of this world, and not just because it's a Star Wars book set in another galaxy. As I mentioned in my last video where I covered the first issue of the Phase 2 High Republic comics, Phase 2 takes place 150 years before Light of the Jedi. I'm not going to go into a lot of spoilers about the book because I know it's kind of hot off the presses still. It's still pretty new, so I don't want to ruin anything for anybody. This era of the timeline. It is an age of exploration for the Republic. Pathfinder teams have been dispatched to the far reaches of space for exploration purposes. The Jedi are also taking part in these Pathfinder missions. Obviously, the fringe of space, it's still pretty unexplored. Communications are pretty unreliable. There are a lot of prospectors and pirates all over the Outer Rim. Our story takes place on the planet Dalna, which is also in the Outer Rim. 2 Jedi have been dispatched to Dalna, but they are not part of a pathfinding team. They're there on a mission. Some artifacts have gone missing. Some Force-imbued artifacts have been stolen. One of the few links that they have is to a group known as the Path of the Open Hand, which kind of have their operations on the planet Dalna. The Path of the Open Hand sort of follow the will of the Force. They kind of live off the land. They live in simple homes. They have a lot of caves that they actually live in. The locals don't like them that much. I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not going to spoil anything. I'll go a little bit into the main characters. So obviously the 2 Jedi that are dispatched. The first Jedi is Padawan Kevmo Zink. He is a Pantoran from the planet Hosnian Prime. I'm going to mention Pantorans just because they first appeared in Revenge of the Sith. So if you have no clue who that character is or who played him, then you probably shouldn't be watching the show. His master her name is Zala Makri. She is a Soikin. That is a new species of alien that have been introduced in the High Republic. One thing I like about the High Republic is there's a lot of new species. We meet tons of new worlds. It's not all taking place on Tatooine and Coruscant. Yeah, we see Coruscant. Yeah, we see Jedha. We see some, older planets, but there are so many new worlds. So 2 of our other main characters that are members of the Path of the Open Hand, they are cousins. They are members of another new species that you may have recognized from the High Republic, the Everini. Obviously, if you want to learn more about them and their backstory, I won't spoil it either. If you read Eye of the Storm from Phase 1, that kind of goes into their backstory. Let's just say the galaxy at large are not fans of this species, but these cousins, Yana Ro and Marta Ro, they have kind of found refuge within this group, this Path of the Open Hand. So like I said, I'm not going to spoil anything, but I really thought it was a beautiful book. It's not really an action story. There's not a whole lot of battles going on. There's no space fights. It's just, a master Jedi and her Padawan. They're on this world. They're trying to get to know the locals. And I think it's because it's kind of a slower pace of a story. It kind of does really give us an opportunity to kind of see how life is during this period of Star Wars history. Obviously, I love seeing what the Jedi are up to during this time period. And the other aspect, of this book I really like is we learn about this new group, the Path of the Open Hand. Obviously, I don't want to spoil, anything major, but they are, another group of Force believers. The Path of the Open Hand is sort of ruled by a character known as the Mother. We don't know a whole lot of her background at this point, other than she is not an original member of the Path of the Open Hand, but she kind of guides them. There is a herald. He's an important figure in this group, and there are other elders and things like that, but the Mother is kind of sort of the top of the hierarchy. And since it's in the flap of the book, it's not really a spoiler. It does say that the Mother has plans of her own, and she can never coexist peacefully with the Jedi. So obviously I can tell you that there are maybe some sinister undertones with this Path of the Open Hand. A lot of times when they recruit new members, they'll go out and give flowers and say it's a gift freely given, and they do a bow like this too. I think I'm doing it right. You get your palms up and you bow. Obviously, I'm sitting in a chair, so it's kind of hard to do it. Obviously, the Path of the Open Hand, the different beliefs on the Force and the Jedi do. Spending so much time with this group, I think they are going to be a big aspect of the of the Phase 2 era. Obviously, like, you know, there's a lot of different Force beliefs that were going on in that convocation thing I mentioned in the comics. Obviously, this is an era where there's a lot of different Force believers out there, you know, meeting together and having discussions. So this might be a good time period for a group like that to grow. I'm just speculating at this point, you know, and even like within the group of the Path of the Open Hand, the cousins Yana and Marta, they have different views on the group itself. You know, one might love it, the other one might not like it. Like I said, I don't really want to spoil anything, but I love these two cousins. They're like sisters almost. They're that close. It's just kind of cool seeing their bond as a species. You know, they're both the same species, the Embereni, which are kind of outcast among society. They are not welcome in a lot of different places in the Star Wars galaxies because they have a very, very bad reputation. Like I said, it's really hard to talk about a book like this without spoiling anything, but I will say I really got to like these characters a lot, and some especially towards the end, like, you know, it went places I wasn't expecting. Like, I actually had to put this book down a couple times to be like, damn, I can't believe that actually just happened. But I can't say if it's good or bad, it's just my own opinion. And then the one thing that I really liked about the book too is you know, obviously the Jedi and the Path of the Open Hand, they might have different beliefs on the Force, and like the Jedi know that this group, they are not even because there's Evereni among them, it's just because the group itself, people are suspicious of them, they have a bad feeling about them. The fact that the Jedi can still work with them, and it shows, you know, kind of how the Jedi see this Path of the Open Hand, how the Path of the Open Hand kind of view the Jedi. So you get to see a lot of different perspectives. Just because it is the first book in Phase 2, I strongly recommend you read it, just because I feel like a lot of groundwork is being laid out for future stories in this time period. It's a slow-moving book, but like I said, I like the change of pace just because it's more character-driven, not so much big space battles, big lightsaber fights, or, you know, espionage or anything crazy like that. Speaking of Phase 2, there's nothing else coming out in October for Phase 2. The next thing will be on November 1st, Quest for the Hidden City by George Mann. That is a junior novel. I will be reviewing that on here. And then the next thing after that will be the second issue of the High Republic comic. I will be reading that. That comes out November 9th. And obviously, I'm also very excited for the art book that's coming out on November 8th, the day before the comic. The Art of the High Republic Phase 1. Like, I think it's like 240 some pages. I was looking at some pictures. There are some sick pictures of some of my favorite characters from Phase 1, like Avar Kriss. I am in love with that character. Obviously, I will be checking out that book, and whenever I do pick it up, it's not like a priority. I will do a review on that too. So the next video I'm probably going to do will be Swarm War. I'm working on this right now, so then I can finish up the Dark Nest trilogy. I'm thinking in between the High Republic and the new stuff. I'm probably just going to go through Legacy of the Force. I just finished New Jedi Order a couple months ago. I'm doing the Swarm War now. I like Legacy of the Force. I've read it before. I know everybody talks about the Jason Solo stuff. Well, I'm going to be talking about it too. And then we'll do Fate of the Jedi all the way up to Crucible. That's next on the list, though, is Swarm War. Thank you for checking out this video. I want to shout out to everybody who's been watching this stuff. I'm kind of new to the YouTube and review game sort of thing, at least in this format. So I want to shout out to everybody that's had my back with this. We are on Facebook. We are on Instagram. So if you like Star Wars stuff, your friends like Star Wars stuff, you like videos on YouTube that are less than 10 minutes, please check us out. Please tell your friends about us. We are the Sacred Jedi Text. Thank you.